Over the years, I've learned that enjoying travel, especially when you are not alone, is an art to master. Here's the first of our travel with me series in Italy. One of the few regions in the country I hadn't explored yet. And I can tell you, it was definitely not what I expected at first. Located deep in the south of Italy, it wasn't on my hot list. More agricultural area, not the Italy you usually hear about. And yet, it turned out to be one of the most magical trips I've taken in Europe to date. A place full of culture. I cannot wait to go back. My name is Victoria, and today, together with Parisian Vibe, I'm taking you to Puglia. A few things to note. While our plane tickets were booked in advance, nothing else was. This was a family trip, and I had done very little research beforehand. In fact, once I've started researching online, I was really tempted to change the destination. And what you'll see here were our favorite villages and towns, authentic stays with beautiful design and taste, the best breakfast spots, and hidden Italian gems recommended by the locals.
So 1950s.
This is actually a must for me when I travel, to arrive somewhere and let the locals guide you. Speak to people. This is one of the most valuable travel tips I've learned. Choosing who to speak to is another topic entirely.
Oh.
I don't speak Italian, but that was never a problem. Heading to our first accommodation and our first night in the Maseria. Set in the middle of nature near the larger city of Monopoli and surrounded by endless olive trees. Apparently, you can no longer enjoy this kind of landscape further south due to an olive tree disease that wiped out much of the groves. We really appreciated the beauty of the trees here. As we traveled and visited bigger cities, it quickly became clear that we preferred staying outside the urban centers. The cities were often crowded, and the accommodation lacked the local charm and unique vibe we enjoyed so much elsewhere. What is a masseria? I loved how minimal the design was here. The owner has transformed the place himself with the help of his family. I could talk for hours about the wall finishes in Italy. They are truly stunning. Italians have developed unique techniques over time to achieve that beautiful, lived-in feel. The famous stucco and the craftsmanship behind it are worth diving into if you want to get it just right. Ivan, the Italian owner born in the region, became our first guide with his wonderful suggestions. He spent hours showing us the renovations and sharing the history of the place. His recommendations ended up being some of my favorite spots in all of Puglia. Welcome to Alberlo. Famous for its unique trulli and designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1996. Ivan did mention that the city has become quite touristic and pointed us towards a few nearby towns he personally prefers. Don't worry, we'll take you here too. Surrounded by trulli, the small huts felt like fairy tale homes, like something out of the world where Strumpf might have once lived. What is a trulli? Trulli were traditionally built without using mortar so that people could avoid paying property taxes under the Kingdom of Naples. Some of this are now transformed in the cutest places where people actually live, as well as expensive hotels. Italy is one of the most religious countries in Europe, and you can feel it. Beautiful churches, big and small, on every street corner. Heading to one of Ivan's favorite towns, Locorando. Spoiler, we loved its cozy feel and all the local artisans who made it their homes, with stories full of Italian flavor. We ended up stopping there several times, as this little town was perfectly located to connect some of the other spots we discovered later on. We did travel during Easter, which meant there were plenty of witches welcoming us when we arrived, hanging all over the town. And that was quite a spectacle, scary at first, but it made sense later on. In parts of Puglia, especially in the Salento region, locals hang black-clad dolls known as quareme during Lent. These figures, often resembling old women or witches, symbolize penance and the passage of time. Traditionally, they are displayed with oranges or feathers, making the weeks until Easter and sometimes ceremonially burned to represent the end of suffering and the arrival of renewal.
Mozzarella, prosciutto.
Puglia has a long tradition of textile crafts, including knitting, crochet, lace making, and embroidery, particularly in rural and coastal areas. Here, we stumbled upon this unusual crochet umbrellas hanging above a small square. It was magical. Some of their creations takes months to master, something unimaginable nowadays. Our second night was spent in larger Maseria, which, to our surprise, turned out to be owned by the parents of an antique shop couple we had on our to-visit list. We finally got to stay in an actual trullo. And it was quite an experience, surreal and mystical. The breakfast was wonderful, something very important to me, as I love to start my day with a great breakfast. And the on-site restaurant was especially appreciated, as there wasn't much nearby. we took the opportunity to fully enjoy the premises and the warm hospitality of the team. One of our favorite spots was the large lounge area, filled with books and games and offering tea with Italian biscuits available 24/7. A cozy touch you can enjoy at any time. During the day, we visited the antique shop located in Ostuni, a nearby town I've already mentioned, which, as it turned out, is owned by the son and his fiancée of the Maseria we stayed in just before. This is one of those hidden gems you almost want to keep to yourself, a place with an incredible minimalist aesthetic and a refined understanding of tasteful vintage furniture. The couple travels all over Europe and beyond to source some of the most exquisite pieces, and their curation was both admirable and deeply inspiring. I tried to understand how they trained their eye and developed such a strong aesthetic sensibility. I also fell in love with their selection of lamps, which turned out to be designed and produced by the brother of the owner, who is an architect. We're heading to Materra. Technically, this is no longer Puglia, situated in the region of Basilica, the spot which stole my heart, the history which surprised and left its long-lasting mark, and one of the reasons why I have classified the trip as one of the most magical ones in Europe to date. Another UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1993, the European Capital of Culture for the year 2019, the cinematic site of the latest James Bond film No Time to Die, released in 2021. Materra has a dramatic and unique history. Once called the shame of Italy, in the 1950s, it drew national attention for its dire living conditions. Families were living in ancient cave homes, known as the sassi, without electricity, running water, or proper sanitation. Infant mortality was high. It wasn't until after 1950s that the Italian government intervened, relocating thousands of residents and investing in better housing and infrastructure. Once a symbol of hardship, Materra is now celebrated as one of Italy's most remarkable stories of resilience and renewal.
Says 18.
Here is one of the highlights of the trip, a gem created by the founder of Sextantio, who set himself the goal of preserving a few of Italy's remaining historical villages. This passion, and perhaps obsession, for going against the current and resisting the ease of modernity is rarely seen. I truly admire people who go the extra mile to preserve history while still moving in step with the times. We had planned to stay just one night in Materra, but ended up staying 3 at Sextantio. In caves once inhabited by people living side by side with their animals, all packed in together. Before arriving, several people along the way, locals, recommended the place to us, speaking so highly of the project. Remember my rule? Talk to the locals and they will lead you to the real gems. The experience exceeded all our expectations.
J'ai une question. Qu'est-ce que...
Ok, ou bien s'il vous plaît, vous pouvez faire aussi.
De l'Auvergne. Un bruit. Prends une feuille. Quelle feuille?
One of the best breakfasts we've ever had, all prepared with local ingredients. The landscape is stunning. The candlelight, handmade especially for Sextantio, glows day and night. It was truly magical. A little tip that's not advertised, and we've discovered once being at the hotel. The hotel hosts one couple each evening in the dining room cave, where local cooks prepare a private, candlelit dinner just for them. I really hope that you've enjoyed and got inspired by this little trip of ours, and that you've picked up some tips and notes. And hopefully you will go to Italy and Puglia and remember this video and our little trip.